Hello, everyone. I will present to you a study done by Nicolas Mavromatis. Unfortunately, Nicolas cannot be here with us. And this study got a grant from BioMedef and is led by the French Army's Biomedical Research Institute in partnership with the French Air Warfare Center. This study also is about human autonomy teaming, and we studied how fighter pilots build trust with an artificial and intelligent agent in air operations. First, why such a question? Is it really important or relevant to study how fighter pilots build trust? With current combat air system, maybe not so much. Trust is already here, and thanks to our favorite industrials. And the problem is that the future seems to be a little bit more complicated, and in air operation, it will be quite different with the situation, the current situation. The next huge military program is the SCAF, or in English, FCAS, Future Combat Air Systems. And it will involve multiple systems, multiple aircraft with more and more communication, more and more data management, information processing, information sharing, and decision making, and so on. In our dreams, French Air Force will get a new fighter aircraft. Of course, the Rafale is the best fighter in the world today, but with the future needs, we will require a new air combat system, and it could be the NGF. So the NGF, the next generation fighter, with new sensors, new weapons, new capabilities, and it will imply a very large need to manage data and to process information. The combat cloud could be a solution to make available this information, but someone will have to manage this information. And excuse me. And what is planned is that human operators will always be in charge of decision making. Okay, but the pilot will need help, and that here artificial intelligence come into the play. Systems based on the AR, artificial intelligence, brings a lot of solutions to a lot of our problems every day. But solving problems in a tactical situation, in air operations, is quite sensitive due to the high level of the risk of being in the air and being in front of an enemy in a very dynamic situation. A tactical situation can change quickly and in a very significant manner. This is why situational awareness is so critical in our activity, just to stay alive and do the mission of the day. So, if trust is not calibrated, is not correctly calibrated, we observed under trust and over trust with consequences. What are these consequences? Funny story. A previous study was presented 2 years ago here at ICCAS, and this study showed that under trust conducts to limited performance of the pilots, of the fighter pilots, and over trust conducts to endangerment for the pilot. So with the real system based on AI, we studied the reasons why fighter pilots use or not system finding a path in a dangerous tactical environment. It was interesting, en fait, to find that pilots accept to follow a path, although they were not able to create this path themselves. Consequently, they didn't need anymore to anticipate, and this could be the real big problem for the future. So, to preserve the ability to anticipate, we think pilots need to know, but the question is to know why or to know how. That's the future of our studies. With the growing autonomy of AA-based systems, pilots will increasingly be asking themselves how and why their artificial companions offer them solutions. There are so many questions that could or should be asked. So we decided to ask ourselves which are the more relevant and the more useful for the success of the mission. To understand how a complex system works, we can refer to concepts of explainability and transparencies. The first, explainability, but I think you know, provide information about the objective aimed by the solution. And the second, transparency, provides information about the process by which the solution was created. Excuse me. So what is the best for the fighter pilot? Given the difficulty of understanding how an AI produces a solution, the question is not whether pilots need to understand how this solution is created, but rather whether they can trust it without understanding. If not, what kind of affirmation do they need to trust it without understanding? The why explanation allows the pilot to project himself in the near future, and the how explanation gives him a better understanding of how the system came to propose such a solution. So the question we set out to answer was the following. What effect does the nature of explanation have on the fighter pilot's trust in an intelligent system when performing a tactical collaborative task? For this, we created three missions themselves divided into three events that offer interaction between the fighter pilot and his AI. These missions include possible future tasks such as managing a swarm, managing ground troops from the aircraft, and more traditional tasks such as autopilot or threat reaction, but in a sophisticated version. In each case, the AI made a proposal following a change in a tactical situation, and the pilot had to accept or reject this proposal after receiving a how explanation or a why explanation or no explanation at all. Yeah, sorry, it's different, but here is an example of an item related to the takeoff of a MiG-29 during the mission. The how explanation says that it managed the threat by taking into account the evasive maneuver, whereas with the why explanation, we're aiming to be out of the range of the threat in 2 minutes times. The data collected were the decision to accept or refuse the system's proposal and the response time. We make pilots wear a night tracker to gain a better understanding of what they are doing in the flight, in the simulated flight. And we also believe it is relevant to measure some personality traits, such as a propensity to trust automated system and correlate it with the data. At the end, we debrief participants individually to get the representation they made of the AI system and the reasons why they accept or decline each proposal. Here is the experimental setup with the simulator aircraft and an example of a proposal made by the AI. The results we expected simply first, no explanation, no acceptation. The second, then why explanation allow pilots to project themselves in the few minutes to go. We think that that is why pilots will find this more comforting and thus more useful. We hope we will find interesting arguments in the debriefing to identify what in the tactical mission is critical to trust an artificial intelligence. At this time, we have not all the results, and here some verbatim reports. We find it very, very interesting because the topics are emerging to help us thinking of the future direction of the research. By example, I don't know if I have any time. It's okay for the time? Okay. The first, it's talking at the wrong time, and it's very close to the question why I refuse, and so on. It's more a question of when talking than what saying. The second, why does it run in advance? It doesn't change anything for us of the course of the mission. The less you say, the best it is. That's faithful to the pilot. Third, you can't have, this is very important, you can't have a model that will apply to Peter, Paul, James in the same way. Yes, there's a real need for the pilot to a personal assistant, and it will be a big challenge for both French Air Force and industrial. And finally, it's fair to say that I have accepted quite a few proposals because I did not know everything they were offering me. Sometimes no need to understand. It's very most simple. To conclude, we just halfway through the study. Thank you, Nicolas. Only 5 pilots took part, and there's a lot of work to do. So recruit another 15 participants. We will correlate questionnaire results with participant behavioral response. And we aim to examine the effects of the mission type. Maybe building trust is different when the task is effector management or just managing a trajectory. Thank you for attention, and enjoy the new logo of the human factor air operation of the French Air Force.